Welcome to episode 5 of A New Way to Love, Live, and Lead. I'm your host, Cheryne Blom, a master coach, author, speaker, and the founder of the Self-Mastery Hub, your online platform for self-inquiry, healing, and growth. This podcast is here to remind you, midlife isn't a crisis. It's a climax. Each week, we'll explore how to break old patterns, build authentic confidence, and live with intention so you can thrive in this powerful new chapter of your life. There's a myth about midlife. We should already be done. That the big chapters of growth, discovery, and reinvention belong to the younger years. And that by 40, 50, or beyond, we should have it all figured out. But here's the truth. You are still becoming. Growth doesn't stop at 25. It doesn't stop at 40. It doesn't even stop at 70. Growth is lifelong. And midlife is far from being the end of your becoming. It is one of the richest, most expansive seasons of it. Ray Kroc once said, "When you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rot." I love this reminder because keeping ourselves open to growth doesn't just expand what's possible. It keeps us in a growth mindset. It keeps us youthful, alive, and humble. It moves us from, "I should already know this," to, "I'm excited to learn this." For much of my early life, I chased milestones as if they were finish lines. Get the degree, build the career, find the relationship, buy a house, check, check, check. And yet, when I arrived at those places, instead of feeling complete, I felt restless. Something in me knew this just can't be all there is. And my so-called midlife crisis was really a midlife awakening, a realization that I wasn't finished, that I was still becoming. Part of my breakdown in my 30s and my sense of stuckness came from stagnation. I was pouring a lot of my energy into other people and into navigating the disconnection in my relationship. But I had stopped investing in myself. When I finally brought the focus back to me, when I went back to study, invested in self-development, and committed to the inner work of healing my wounds, my energy, my drive, and my higher purpose began to awaken. And I've kept that commitment alive. Every single year I enroll in a new course, whether it's deeper inner child healing or business development or a new modality for growth, because I know I'm still becoming and there's so much more I want to learn. Today, I no longer see growth as a ladder to climb or a checklist to complete. I see it as an unfolding, a deepening into who I truly am. And here's a simple but powerful shift I made. Instead of constantly asking, "Why is this happening to me?" or "Why am I going through this challenge?" I now ask myself a more empowering question. Instead of "What am I going through?" I ask myself, "What am I growing through today?" That one question transforms everything. It keeps me focused on inner growth rather than getting stuck in stress, blame, or adversity. It reminds me that even in the hard seasons, I am still becoming. That shift has freed me to live with more curiosity, more courage, and more intention. Here's why the cultural story about growth ending in midlife is simply wrong. First of all, biology says otherwise. Neuroscience has shown that our brains remain plastic. That's the heart of neuroplasticity. Our brains continue to adapt to the environment that we're in. So we're capable of rewiring and change well into later life. Even the simplest change of thinking or habits change how we are neurologically wired. Every decade offers us new awareness, new healing, and new levels of self-actualization. Also, life experience fuels depth. In your 40s, 50s, and beyond, you bring resilience, wisdom, and perspective that younger years simply can't. Growth here is richer because it's seasoned by experience. And also, our desire for meaning emerges. Once survival and proving ourselves are less urgent, we start asking bigger questions. Who am I now? What really matters to me most? How do I want to live the rest of my life? We finally have enough evidence that we are safe, that we can achieve, that we are capable. So the focus shifts from success to significance. Midlife isn't the closing of the book. It's the turning of the page into the most interesting chapters yet. And so midlife growth often requires 3 essential shifts. The first one is to shift from achievement to alignment. Earlier life is often about proving yourself through achievements, titles, milestones, but midlife invites us to align with our true values, to ask, does that choice reflect who I really am and what I really want? Alignment feels authentic, frees us from people-pleasing and grounds us in integrity with ourselves. We also shift from comparison to curiosity. Many of us compare ourselves to others. It's one of our inner ego gremlins. We also compare ourselves to our younger selves. But comparison is the thief of joy. Curiosity opens the door to reinvention. It transforms the thought that I'm behind into what's possible for me now. Curiosity is powerful because it silences the inner critic. It replaces judgment with wonder, awe, and discovery, and it fosters compassion for ourselves and for others. And the third shift is from fear to freedom, because fear whispers it's too late or we're not enough, and that imposter syndrome keeps showing up. But when we reframe fear, it becomes a doorway to freedom. You're not behind. You are right on time. This is the best time of life, right here, right now. And letting go of old fears doesn't just set us free. It opens the path to our truest expression. And so midlife isn't about arriving. It's about awakening to the fact that you were never meant to stop becoming. And so take a moment to ask yourself, if I gave myself permission to still be becoming, what's one area of my life I would love to grow, explore, or reinvent? And here's what I'd love you to remember. You are not finished. You are not behind. You are not too late. Growth doesn't end in midlife. It deepens. And if this episode resonates, I'd love to invite you to join my Drop the F Word challenge, shifting from fear to empowerment. Inside, you'll uncover your hidden fear persona, the unconscious pattern that may be keeping you stuck. And you'll learn how to transform fear into authentic empowerment so you can keep becoming the fullest version of yourself. You can start by taking the Hidden Fear persona and joining your free 7-day challenge. The link is in the show notes to this episode, so please check that out. And if you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe, rate and share it with a friend who's ready to awaken to their next chapter. And thanks for joining me on a new way to love, live, and lead. And remember, you are not too late. You're right on time. And your best, most powerful chapter begins right now.